What's up, Rush Nation? It's your boy Pilly. I'm here with Janner. Everybody knows the lovely Janner. He's now, he's official, but he's unscripted, uncensored. Let's go. Janner, beauty having you here, buddy.
Happy to be here. What a setup. What a setup here. I feel like I'm in the TSN studios in Toronto right now.
This is the first time we have all these lights. We finally put up the decorations that Calvin made us.
Love it.
Love it. It's as unofficial as official, whatever sense that makes. Anyways, I want to start off by asking you, the fuck is going on in Ontario?
Oh, I was waiting for this question. I've been reached out to by multiple podcasts and shows being like, Janner, you got to come on. It's awesome. I made some comments on social media. Some people were definitely offended. Sorry to North Korea. I said I wasn't going to do it. I was going to do a little video and that was it. That was going to be a statement. But since I'm here already, I don't know when this is dropping. So Ontario pretty much just said you should not play lacrosse unless you play lacrosse for the people that make us money, which is just not what a lacrosse organization or governing body should be doing in my mind. I want to see more kids with sticks in their hands. I want to see more lacrosse played. I don't want to force kids from X region to have to drive 4-10 hours just to play lacrosse under a certain sanctioned organization. I think that's just a terrible decision. Bad for the game. So they've backpedaled. We knew they would, right? Once you see NLL players start to speak out, we know they would start to backpedal.
Del Bianco.
Yeah, Delbs saved the day. Shout out Delbs. No, but at the end of the day, I think, you know, they've always had this little pissy match going on with the TLL back in the day, if you remember that. I know Han Hawk's been super vocal about that. Now it's with the CLL. And so, again, they're trying to block players from going there. I think that's the end goal, right? They're not as worried about the club lacrosse. But end of the day, they just tried to cut off lacrosse for everyone. And I think that's what pissed everyone off, right? Like, you just can't do it. It's damn embarrassing for the game, in my mind.
It is. The game should be about the kids, and I've always said this. It should be about the kids. It should be about the growth of the game and the enjoyment of the sport. And if you're not in it for that, then get the fuck out of it.
Okay, give me one more thing, though, on it, though. Oh, man, it's so crazy. I could go on for an hour about this. But, like, they try to block it off from, like, March to November. So anyone who goes and plays in the Alice Shabreski, E-Box, essentially, if you're playing like college lacrosse or NLL, technically you'd be banned as well. But then
buddies in your backyard.
After the season ends, so say the Junior A season ends in end of June, start of July. If your team doesn't make the playoffs, you get the boot in the first round. You can't play any lacrosse until November.
Sell the
because
sticks,
the
boys.
OLA says you can't. That was such an insane decision, and we've both seen the World Juniors IIJL event was in Saskatoon. For kids in I think it's August, right? Hey, a lot of them have been off for a month or two. So, they just get to play lacrosse. That's what they want to do, right? I think anyone can have your opinion on the event. We know the caliber of lacrosse isn't the NLL. It's much lower, obviously, but it allowed so many players to keep playing. How many SWAT people are going to watch this? I'm going to get slapped on the wrist for sure. Hey, the SWAT were awful this year. They'll be the first to tell you.
They'll tell you.
Their Tier 1 and Junior A teams did not have successful seasons. But for those kids who got to play lacrosse beyond that, that was a memory that they'll have for the rest of their life. So say what you want about the organization, about any of that. It doesn't happen if you don't allow kids to have the stick in their hand.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, the gatekeeping in this game is
outrageous.
Sickening.
We had that battle of the border in Montana, too, that I was lucky enough to go to. They invited me down. Ryan, Tucker, all of them. Ethan did such a great job organizing it. But it's crazy to me to think about that those kids, if they were from Ontario or wanted to play in Ontario, could have been suspended because they went down and played a series against, kids from Montana where it was life-changing for them. They're like, this is the coolest experience of my life in lacrosse. It's insane to me.
And the game itself is going to sit there and say, hashtag grow the game while doing everything to stop it. So
okay, that's 10 minutes with Cody on lacrosse. Good start here.
Right? We know you live in Alberta.
No, I don't.
What? No, we don't know shit then. Sorry. Cut.
No, keep this rolling. What?
I thought you lived in Alberta.
No,
I thought you were in Edmonton or
I fully
something.
moved to Saskatchewan now.
What?
I made the trip. I've moved back here. I am a full-time Saskatchewan resident again.
Well, shit. Okay, well, even better.
Driver's license over there. I would have proved it to you, but I can't.
Would you get into the political side of lacrosse? Would you look at hopping on something like the SLA or a board, or would you look into that?
I'm open to everything, and that's the most political answer you'll ever hear. I just want to puke because I said that. I am open to everything, though, but essentially I think the game is in better hands with more lacrosse, and what we've been doing hasn't worked. I have not seen significant growth in the game over the past 10 years. It's not to dunk on one person, one organization. I think that having more independent options and having more options for lacrosse is going to iron sharpens iron, right? And I think that I'll bring it back to hockey. You're a hockey guy too. The BCHL leaving Hockey Canada, it brought on more competition with the Alberta League, with other leagues, and I think it's made them both better. I really think that iron sharpens iron, and not to say like, oh, if there was another junior lacrosse league that was independent in BC, Ontario, Saskatchewan, wherever it was, I'm not saying like, oh, that would instantly make everything better, because it would water it down a bit, but it would allow for competition, and that's what you want, because right now it's a monopoly, and these teams are able to charge thousands and thousands of dollars to junior players because they have no other option. I want to see competition. I want to see those prices go down. I want to see teams actually put in a serious focus. I'm speaking summer ball about finding sponsors, about putting asses in seats, because they don't care to do it, because they're like, hey, kids got to come to me. They have to play for me, right? So I can do whatever I want. I can charge whatever I want. I'm going to fill my bench. But if there was that competition, now you'd be like, oh, I gotta focus on putting some fans in here. I gotta be in a better location. That's what I want to see in lacrosse, and that's why I say I definitely lean towards no. I don't see myself being a part of that, because I think that the future is bringing on more competition and hopefully forcing those organizations to do better. I think we all strive to do better, but who's pushing them? That's where I come from.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can
I say something? How is Saskatchewan senior hockey is incredible, right? Can we just like fully agree? Senior hockey in Saskatchewan is just one of my favorite things in the world. Why are we playing? And the Kinsman's actually a decent barn. When it was bumping to, it's actually a good setup. But
it's hot as hell in summer. It's unreal.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name from. Maybe we gotta cut this out. What's the kid from Prince Albert, plays lacrosse?
Beatty.
He's the ref. Oh,
Tanner Fetch.
Yeah. So what I seen, he posted some pictures on social media about I don't know if he runs the team in Prince Albert. You guys might know this better, but they had full stands. Like, that's awesome. I want to see more of that senior lacrosse. I want to see go play a game in Radisson. Like go put a team in a small barn, build up that atmosphere. That was the best part about junior B lacrosse in Alberta. Is they stayed away from the big barns. It's community focused, so teams like Fort Saskatchewan, St. Albert, they're jam-packing it. That's why kids are playing junior B over junior A.
Well, you get that atmosphere, and you get
So let's bring that to Saskatchewan.
It's electric.
Small
barns.
Yeah, I know Schatz is involved with Standing Buffalo. Like, I want to see the game take off in that way, and that's how the game grows, is when you get a community. It's not when you get a bunch of people giving one person a bunch of dough.
Yeah. It's not too often we hear PA's the leading drive of anything.
Well, I'm not saying that they're the
like,
leaders. I'm just saying, hey, I seen Tanner Fetch post some stuff, and it looked awesome. I want to see more of that.
Fun fact, I was the GM of the Outlaws. Unbeaten, buddy.
You could have started off with that before I made myself look like an idiot.
It was COVID season, and then I moved. So unbeaten and winless. So that's the way she goes. I want to ask you, and this is going to be kind of maybe a stupid question, because probably, but do you have warm-up rituals? Do you sit there and go fa la 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 la,
Okay, no, I'm not a voice box guy. Sometimes I'll definitely get in the zone a little bit. I count like 1 to 10, 10 to 1. That's usually just how I get the box dialed in. But like essentially, I am more of a like just get in the zone, right? It's a profession. I like to. Everyone's like, oh, you got the coolest job in the world. Well, it's not really a job. It's a profession. I think I've got the best job in the world, but it's also one of those things where it's like, hey, if you don't do good at your job, someone kicks you out, right? Like your average, if you're pumping gas, you have a bad day pumping gas, no one's taking your job, right? Where if I have a bad season,
yeah, some like, fat guy beside the penalty box calling you out on some random
right?
show.
Again, I think like just you got to get in the zone. You have to take it serious. I love listening to tunes. It's kind of like warm-ups for players. I get in the zone. Maybe sometimes mix in some smelling salts once in a while, and you get the senses firing. But I don't have any like set rituals or routines.
Go grab Fraser from the hot dog stands.
Yeah, I gotta drag him out of the popcorn bin.
Are you superstitious?
No.
No, you don't have like put one sock on first or lucky gitch or nothing.
I always get asked that. They're like, do you like switch up the suits or the ties? Or you keep it the same when the team's winning? No, I can't remember that. There's so many breaks in lacrosse. Like
there's some guys that run off backwards and just certain little things.
I can't. My brain's too small to like remember superstitions. I don't have that in me.
Well, that's fair. We're still early in the season here. What do we see as the team's strengths, the weaknesses? I know you think that we're going in a good direction. I think we're going in a good direction. I said that we would only lose 3 this year, and
that was wild.
We're pushing that number, but I'm not wrong yet. So
what's good is the offense. I think we've seen that the offense. They swing the ball a lot better. It's a lot more unpredictable. So we make life a lot more difficult for other teams' defenders. And I got to talk with, guys on Vegas, guys on Rochester after the game and stuff that I keep in touch with. And they were like, it's so unpredictable. That's what makes it hard. That's why, I don't know, we've got 3 guys with 17 points, right? Our defenders are buzzing up the floor now. So our offense and just the way we create offense is a lot more encouraging, I think, when looking at the future. Think about those 2016, 2018 teams that had a lot more dual threats. You'd see a lot of playoff games with 4 guys, with 5 or more points, right? So you're spreading the love versus just 2, 3 guys, really carrying the water. What I think still concerns is the defense, right? I think that, hey, they've shown that they can be unbelievable. They can also have some real awful quarters, and that's not to knock on them. They're still young, but they have to develop. We want to see how they develop, and if they can play that aggressive style for 60 minutes, a little bit more, then I think that they are going to be really successful because we have better athletes than a lot of teams in this league, but that still doesn't do enough for you. Everyone's got good athletes. Everyone works hard. You don't get anything for working hard in this league. You have to be effective, and you have to be effective on a nightly basis. And that's where I want to see the consistency kick in with the defense, because once that aspect gets dialed in, life gets easier for Frank Chiliano, and the team can start to pile up some wins.
That makes sense.
Like the first 2 games, and Cooper Perkins is the stats nerd of the world, but the amount of high danger chances, 1v1 opportunities, odd man opportunities that we were giving up was just unacceptable, I think. And so if you clean that aspect up, like they did against Vegas, and don't get me wrong, Vegas is not on the same level as Halifax and Rochester. Those are 2 damn good teams. But if you clean that up, you're going to have success. You're going to be a playoff team. But if you give teams those opportunities, the NLL is so good now. Teams will make you pay.
What? Warm up is time to go! Who's ready?
You're a guy that knows a lot about the junior scene, as the up and coming and who's coming and doing what. Who have we not seen in a Rush jersey that has been drafted by us? You've probably seen them in tryouts and stuff, but the rest of us fans, who should we be excited for?
We have a lefty and a righty that we drafted last year who are impressive in their own rights. I think number one, Levi Anderson, our first round pick. He fell in the draft, and everyone goes, well, why did he fall in the draft? Well, one, he wasn't going to be an active roster player the following year, meaning he went back to school to play NCAA for his final season. So teams who are drafting usually are like, hey, do we need someone immediately or can we wait? And a lot of that, where he was supposed to fall in that 4 to 8 range, wanted players who would immediately step in. So that's why he falls down there. And I think the other aspect is teams are a little on the defensive. Is he a D-man? Is he going to be a forward? You know, is he going to be coachable in a sense where he can take on that role? Like Dane Smith started off in the league as a D-man, if you remember, right? So I'm not comparing him to Dane Smith, but I'm saying, hey, you've got a huge athletic lefty who can really rip the pill, but he's also so athletic and so good with his stick. Does he start off as a D-man and play in that transition role? So I think that's kind of where teams were a little hesitant on him. I think he eventually is going to be a forward. He is so damn good with the ball. He can just absolutely create opportunities with his feet. And then you've got a righty forward in Josh Zawada. He's an American-born kid who his parents were living up in Canada. He was kicking around a couple of different places, played his junior ball with Levi Anderson. So, like, there's that connection. And now he's playing on Duke in the NCAA for his final year. He came back to school, obviously. He's not playing this season. But now he's playing with Dyson Williams, first overall draft pick. Mm-hmm. Brennan O'Neill could be the first overall draft pick. I'm not going to go out of my way and make any crazy statements, but this kid's unbelievable. So now he's playing at Duke with two of the best non-NLL players in the world. What a spot to develop. So, like, I get it. Everyone's
the potential's
like,
there.
Yeah, like he's going to be a high PLL draft pick. It's like, can he convert it to the box game? I'm not saying like, hey, we've got the next Tom Schreiber here, but we've got a righty who is going to, if he can translate it to the box game, this is a guy who could put up 50 assists a year. Like, I just think that his IQ and his skill level is a lot more elite than most lacrosse players, even in the NLL currently.
Well, we'll take it.
Yeah, so again, Josh Zawada, Levi Anderson. If you're looking for the bright spots, look for them at camp next year. They're going to be freaking awesome.
And they'll be likely roster players.
I think
no
so.
more school, enough of that shit.
No more school. No, that's it. Again, like, maybe you see Zawada start on the practice roster because, again, it's been a couple of years. He doesn't play summer ball like senior, like some guys like Levi Anderson was playing.
So he needs to go out to PA.
Yeah, there you go.
Boys.
Outlaws.
Outlaws lacrosse.
Dig into the wallet. But no, but he was also at Michigan, and then he was transferring. So a lot of those guys now at the transfer portal NCAA, right? It's like, if you are going to transfer, is it worth the risk to play senior and potentially get injured before your last year of NCAA, right? So it's a high risk, high reward, but there's a lot of dollars and cents on the line. And so for him, it totally makes sense why he doesn't play summer ball. And so I'm excited to see him out here. Like, Jimmy Quinlan got to coach him growing up, too, with the Outlaws. Outlaws? Blues? I don't remember which one it was. But again, there's a lot of connections there. So I think
there's a lot of connections throughout the whole team. There's a lot of,
But that's why the vibes have been so high.
It's unreal how many of them, because they all come from the West now. So they all play with each other somewhere along the lines.
Yeah, like I get to spend a lot of time around the team and just the I call it the vibes, whatever. It's just how it feels. A lot more cohesive, a lot more upbeat. The guys love being at the rink. You're pulling them away to get on the bus. Like, it's actually a really good group, and I think that's one of the biggest optimistic pieces I've got.
Nice.